Curtis, thank you so much for being here today. Gonna kick it off with a couple of, I think, pretty deep, impactful questions, but anything you want to say to the audience before we get started?
Let's have a good show. That's the main thing. Let's have
I
a good
dig it.
show, and then I hope that that I can help influence people to overcome any task or any troubles that they've had in life, to be able to progress and move forward and believe in themselves to be able to continue to keep going and never give up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're the right person to deliver that type of message today. So, for the folks that don't know, you are a former Ohio State Buckeye. You played in the NFL for a couple years. You also have the distinction of having been the number 2 prospect in all of high school football the year you came out. So, I just gotta kick it off. What is it like, especially at that young of an age, getting that type of national attention, people all over you for requests, wanting your time, things like that?
Well, I would say it's good and bad. The reason why I give it a little bit, I like to give both sides,
Yeah,
to
for
give a
sure.
clear point of view for the people that don't know. The good thing is you become a celebrity at a young age. You get all this free stuff. You get to travel all over the world. And and the bad thing that comes along with it, it doesn't come into the end. Um, if you're not panning out, that's the bad part about it. But if you pan out, you're doing really good. But I would say as a 16-year-old phenom at the time, I had set those goals out for myself. I would watch some of the top players around the area. At that
Mhm,
time, I believe it was Corey Mosley, Macho Harris,
mhm.
some of the Athey brothers. They all went to different high schools around the area. And so Friday nights, I would sit on the, I would either go to the football games myself, or I would sit on the couch with my mom and we would watch the highlights, my mom and my dad. And we would see how crazy these high school football games would be, like the bands. It was just a great atmosphere. And I told my mom, I remember saying Macho Harris, he was getting all these top accolades. And I said, Mom, that's gonna be me one day. And she's like, all right, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. So I just set out these goals for myself. And I've always been a big overachiever. Just for me, it's never really been for to get notoriety from anyone else. I was just kind of like one of those kids that's always just wanted to be great. Like I call it like the Jordan or Kobe effect. Like I just always wanted to be great. Like anything I wanted to do, I just wanted to be the best at. And if I wasn't the best at it, I was gonna work my tail off to become the best at it. It's just something that's been put in me that I've been blessed with. I can't explain it. It's just that anything I do, I just want to give it 110%. And throughout that journey, I had a great support system as well. I mean, my family was phenomenal. They were always at AAU practice, football, track. And the only reason if they did miss something, it was either because they had to work or they were literally sick and couldn't get out of bed. So
Yeah.
I give a great shout out to my support system. So with that being said, it gave me the ability to continue to keep believing in myself, to keep going even further. And my father was the one who started me in football. Just I remember where we used to have this little house and a small yard at the time. And as
Mhm.
our family expanded, obviously we had to move, get a bigger house. But my dad took me outside and he used to toss the football with me back and forth. And then I was always like that aggressive kid that loved to hit. And he would let me tackle him in the backyard. And so that's why I started to gain my confidence of playing football. And then
Wow.
my dad was like, "Hey, do you want to play football?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he actually worked with the flag coach at the time. It was called the Chamberlain Packers. The team
Mhm.
was already filled, and they pretty much looked out for me because my dad and the coach worked out together. They put me on the field, and I just started punishing kids. They was like, yeah, we want him to play. So I went from just being like the kid on the side to starting like the first week. And my dad always, he was the one that gave me that confidence to play. And he always worked with me out in the yard. And my dad's actually from Martinsville, Virginia, and he went to Virginia Union. And they talk about, I don't know where he is in stats and stuff now to this day, but they talk about how he was a really good football player. And the only reason he didn't make it is because he got cheap shotted. Somebody held his ankle and another person hit him in the knee and blew his knee out the day
Oh,
after he was
man.
talking to a few scouts. So he took what he learned from there and then instilled it in me, and the rest was history after that.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it sounds like you had an amazing support system, which we'll
Yes,
definitely come back to here in a second. But
yes.
I want to ask you this. Obviously, you're getting once you're at the high school level, you're
Mhm,
getting recruitment letters, offers from top universities. You land at Ohio State. It really doesn't get much bigger than that. And
mhm.
I'm just curious. Clearly, the work ethic from what you're describing is something you had, but how did you maintain that despite all the attention you were getting, also going to a humongous, prestigious football program like the Buckeyes?
Well, I think for me, my parents always instilled in me that I didn't have to be a look at me type of kid.
Hmm.
And it really wasn't about, did I have some cockiness to me? Yes. But it was
Hmm.
more so for the competition. It was never really to, hey,
Sure.
look at me, look what I'm doing, type of person. I've always just been my mom and dad always instilled in me to be humble. I don't always have to showboat about everything that I do. Let my actions speak for who I am. So when it came time to get that notoriety, it was kind of the same thing. And I just always looked at it for it to be a notoriety for my family, not just me. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been where I was. Because
Hmm.
without them taking me to practice, giving me a great roof over my head, talking to me, feeding and clothing me, and being there on the nights that I needed tutoring. My aunts would always come over to help tutor me and help me with my papers. And my mom would stay up late nights and make sure my projects and stuff were complete. And my dad would make sure I got to and from practice and give me little nuggets here and there on how to stay consistent and be detail oriented in my work. Like I said, if it wasn't for that, I don't know exactly what type of kid that I would have been. I had a curfew until I left the house.
Wow.
And my curfew was 10 o'clock until my last senior football game. And then after that, my parents was like, hey, he's about to go to college. It's pretty much over, coming back in at 10 o'clock. But they wanted to make sure that they laid down a ground foundation for me to be successful. They wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be a kid that left the house and went to college. And even though I might not excel in football the way I wanted to, or they wanted to make sure I had an education to be able to continue success in life. And success to each person is totally different of way of people look at life.
Hmm.
I started off for me as watching stuff on TV of the big houses, the cars, and having a lot of money. That's what I wanted to do. But I wasn't ready for that at the age. I was still too immature. So I'm glad that, even though I was the number two prospect, I've learned a lot of things along the journey, but a lot of
Hmm.
stuff went back to the foundation that my parents had laid out for me. And when I believe I would say I got too cocky with what I wanted to do in life and started to smell myself a little bit too much. Life humbled me.
Would you mind expanding on that, sharing how you were humbled?
Oh, well, I mean, just leaving, as you say, coming in as the number two prospect to a prestigious university like the Ohio State. You think about me coming in here and the expectations that I have that I don't even know I have before I come in. So I
Hmm.
come into a prestigious university. I'm 7 hours from home. I don't know anybody here. I'm relying on coaches and the team atmosphere to be like a high school team. But when you get to college, it's not like that. It's
Hmm.
more of a business. You got to come
Yeah.
here and be ready to play. I actually came in, I didn't listen to my dad. I actually came in 30 pounds overweight
Oh,
because
wow.
that's when the cockiness started to kick in. I know everything now. So I come in 30 pounds overweight. Our first workout, oh, I get destroyed. Like just the intensity of the workout, the speed of the
Yeah.
workout. And all these guys are juniors or seniors. And some of my teammates came in and the January. So they already had a spring ball season underneath them, and we coming in June, and we don't even know what we're what we're walking into. I mean, it got to the point for me. I was like, hey, it's time for me to. I think I want to quit. I don't want to do this no more. This not fun for me.
Yeah.
And from the first day I kind of stepped on campus, I hated football like for the
Hmm.
longest because I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't
Hmm.
understand the high intensity of of this prestigious university. I didn't understand like I'm used to killing workouts. Like I wasn't used to getting destroyed by workouts and not being able to stand up after a workout. I've always been a hard worker. I mean, I just didn't know. You know, at that time, my dad kept trying to tell me, "Hey, you better get ready. You better get ready." I'm like, "Dad, I got this. I know what I'm doing." But in reality, high school football and college football, they're not the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
They're
So
not.
no, no, no. But as you rise to the occasion of the
Mhm.
challenge that is put ahead of you, like you level up, right?
Right.
And you go on to have the opportunity to win a national championship under Coach Urban
Mhm.
Meyer on that team. You have NFL guys all around you on that roster. You make it to the league yourself. Can you
Mhm.
talk about how important it is to surround yourself with the people that are going to motivate you, lift you up, challenge you each and every day?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, if you're in a circle that you're the biggest fish, as we call it, if we're in the pond, and you're the biggest fish in the pond. To me, you're there. You're not growing. You don't have anyone that challenge you. I think life comes with a lot of different challenges, and if you can't problem solve in life, you're going to have a problem yourself.
Hmm.
And I think
Hmm.
at that time, I wasn't as mature as I thought I was, and I
Sure.
also didn't think that I didn't have the problem solving skills that I thought I had. Just because of the way things of the transition went for me. And I also don't think that the leadership that I needed at that time, I was getting,
Okay.
or either I was probably getting it, but I wasn't receiving. So, like I said, when I go back to it and we talk about my journey through it, I just thought college football would be a lot different coming from where I come from, of making sure the players are straight, making sure the team is tight knit. But what people fail to realize is when you come to a big university like Ohio State, you have to be ready.
Hmm.
You have to be ready to play or get ready to wait. Get ready to participate and be ready to play because they don't have the time that you think they have to develop you. You got to
Hmm.
come in and be a guy. And if you're not the guy today, you have to be almost 80% ready to be the guy within the next year or you're going to get recruited over because everybody
Sure.
wants to come to Ohio State. And that's what I didn't know. I thought I had time to grow. I thought I had time for coach to coach me up. I thought coach was going to have a lot more time to show me this, show me that. Um, but at the same time, as a player, I lost my confidence so early within my career. It caused me to shy away from wanting to get better.
Hmm.
I'm starting to feel less than. And as those times, I didn't even want to participate in anything to do with football because I just didn't think I was good enough. You
Mm.
know,
That's really, really powerful what you just shared though about it isn't necessarily all like hearts and roses. You're not
right?
necessarily big man on campus immediately like you thought maybe you would. But it also sounds like what I'm hearing you say is it took stepping into the responsibility of either preparing to be the guy or at
Uh,
least being the next guy up if needed.
mhm.
How has that supported you as you've transitioned away from football and into your entrepreneurial pursuits?
I think I'm gonna go back to football right quick before we jump
Yeah,
into so I can tie it all together for you. I
for
think
sure.
the mindset that Urban was trying to prepare us for at an early age, as a young person, sometimes if you didn't grow up in an environment like that, it's kind of hard to connect to. But what Urban, now that I'm an adult, what Urban was trying to do, he was trying to get us to flip the mindset at an earlier age because he already knew what the real world was like. Football world and real world are two different things. So at the
Yeah,
time, we looked at it as him just being not really the word I want to use. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to keep it, keep it G rated for the
sure.
list. He just he wanted to give us a mindset for us to be able to believe that we can accomplish anything. Because if we can learn this here in a game that's very violent and very physical, that you only have a chance to think within to 4 to 6 seconds to make a decision. But in life, you have a whole lot more time to make decisions in
Hmm.
certain situations. He wanted to prepare us for that. And then at that age, we looked at him as just being, man, he's always angry. He don't care about nothing but winning. But in life, if you don't have a mindset like that, you'll be able to accomplish some things, but you won't be able to accomplish everything that you've already set your mind to, because you would tend to stray away from the consistency of progressing to the next level because you can't focus.
Hmm.
So a lot of times people get in these situations because they have created avoidance because they're scared of what the
Mm.
outcome is going to be. So it's like if
Yeah.
you see a player on TV and you see them duck a hit instead of them going to make the hit, or you see a running back fall or quarterback fall on the ground because they didn't want to get the extra yard, and you see the punt team coming out. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I was doing this, I was doing that. But no, you didn't put what the priority was first.
Hmm.
So Urban has given us this playbook, this mental playbook to stop the creative avoidance, to stop and think what Tim Kite would teach us: E plus R equals O. For every action, there's a reaction.
Hmm.
And every event that you have is going to have a reaction. So you have to think about how are you going to dissect, once again, problem solve. And a lot of times, what people don't get outside of sports teams is that type of training. And I call that elite
Yeah.
thinking. Some people might say, oh, that's cocky, da 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 da. But 9 times out of 10, most people, when they get into a situation, they crumble because they don't know how to handle the situation.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
retreat. Me, I'm not retreating. I'm attacking at full force at all times because I always want to be, I never want to really be on the defensive side. So I'm a proactive person so I can continue to keep my mind at elite thinking.
I feel like I'm hearing you say it's about being proactive, seeing things all the way through. Is
Yes.
that summing it up correctly for the audience?
Yes. Yes. So basically, I want anything you set your mind to, you have to see it all the way through. And one thing
Yeah.
coach used to tell me all the time, just because you work hard doesn't guarantee you anything. That is for self gratification. Until that person sees what your worth is to them, you're only doing stuff for yourself to continue to keep going. Like I give myself everything that I do in life now, I give 110%. It's not
Hmm.
for Joe Blow, whoever, to give me the gratification. It's for me to let me know that, hey, I completed the task that I set my mind to. Let me see what other challenges that I can accomplish. So when my time does come, I'm already ready to be able to strike strike forward with the best foot forward. So I'm not sitting there on the defensive side trying to, now I'm reactive. Now I don't know what's going on. Now it's to the point where it's so much going on, mind congestion going on. I can't figure out exactly which road I should take because it's just too much mind confusion. I try to take
Yeah.
out the confusion before it happens. If I can at least get over 50 to 80% of it, the problem figured out, or at least put together a strategy to be able to execute, I think I should be fine because now I just have to pivot. Now I
Yeah.
done gave my strategy out. Now I can be able to pivot after that.
Yeah. And folks, I know that most of us listening to this have not gotten to play football at the Ohio State University, suit up in the NFL, but everything Curtis is saying is applicable to you. So, like, if you're in a sales position and you got to make
Mm-hmm.
100 calls a day before you clock out, like, make 110, make
Yeah.
120. Like, it's those little extra attention to detail, that extra effort that might not feel like it's doing anything in the moment, but you are
Mm-hmm.
paying yourself interest over time. Like just those
Yes.
extra reps, extra opportunities that you miss out if you do the bare minimum. And
Right.
as we've mentioned, it's allowed you to build several businesses at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you feel like is the number one thing aspiring entrepreneurs need to know as they're getting started, like from a mindset perspective?
You know, from a mindset perspective of being an entrepreneur, is once again, you don't know what you don't know. So the best thing to do, a lot of times you create a business plan, you create a
Mm-hmm.
structure, but if it's something new and you don't really have the mentorship for that, you're going to go through a lot more problems than what
Yeah.
you thought because you haven't been through it. And I will say, if you are going to start a business, um, and this is your first time, and if you don't have any mentorship, um, I would say go with franchising at first. Pick you a
Okay.
good franchise. So that way, for me, I chose franchising because to me it's like football again. I have a head coach, I have a
Sure.
VP, I have a trainer. You know, I have all that that's at my disposal. It's when do I want to use it? So I'm always talking to corporate. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always getting a nugget here. What should I do here? Okay, I looked at this. So if I'm looking at my analytics, to me, that's the same as looking at a playbook. So if I'm looking at my analytics and it's not equaling up to the dollars that if I'm spending more dollars in inventory and spending more dollars in labor, if I'm spending more dollars in labor because I'm overhiring people at 9 o'clock, I got 4 employees at 9 o'clock and we don't get busy until 12, and then I only have one. Just learning those different types of strategies. Um, I would definitely recommend that, especially if you don't have somebody to teach you. It's kind of hard to really get along with, find people that want to work with you and not gatekeep, and also want to see you grow as well.
Mhm.
It's a lot of, we live in a selfish world. So if you can't, to me, if you can't do those things, hey, you could be the best problem solver in the world. But to me, my career has really been successful from the people that I've been in the rooms with. I've been in
Sure.
rooms with people, everyone was a millionaire, and I had the opportunity to gross a million in sales. I've done that before. I've had it at times in the NFL when I played my best football was because at the time I had mentorship. Like my best football I played was at the Tennessee Titans and the New York Giants. Why? Because I had great mentors at the Titans like Dick LeBeau, Justin Staples, um, Avery, Brian Arapo. The list goes on. Then when I get to the Giants, I have great leadership from JC, one of my guys, even Antonio Pierce. He was a big impact on my life because at the time he was coaching. He was letting me know, like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm learning from a Pro Bowler, a two-time Super Bowl where I think he won more than either two Super Bowls or more than two Super Bowls. So it goes to show you if you get in the rooms with those people that know more than you and you're willing to listen and they're willing to teach and you're willing to receive what they're teaching, you can really skip steps, but you can see steps coming before they happen and
Sure.
be able to put together a strategy to be successful and execute what you have going on.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why we do the show is to get
Mhm.
experts on, get people who are doing it or have done it so that the folks listening to this, getting started, who have dreams and goals, have an idea of where they should look. And so
Right.
the follow-up question I have is somebody listening to this might be like, "Okay, Curtis, that sounds great, but how do I get in these rooms? How do I meet these people?" Like maybe they don't have a ton of money to get started out with. The thing you said that I thought was super interesting, just to drill down on it, you said it's a selfish world we live in.
Mhm.
I agree. That is a part of human nature.
Mhm.
We're sitting here talking today because we were both at a networking event. I chose to walk up to you, introduce myself,
Mhm.
see how I could provide value to you. Is
Mhm.
that the way to do it, or is there any other way that you would recommend?
I mean, there's plenty of different ways. Me, I just talk to people and I just walk up to people and just say what I want to say to them. And if they like it or don't like it, oh well, I shot my shot.
Yeah.
Even like now in business. Okay, for instance, like everybody's wondering what is my new business? I've got, are you a dispensary? Like, what do you sell? Like, do you sell milkshakes? Like, what are you doing? So it's up to me and my wife to be able to come in here and to let people know exactly what we're doing. We're going out and putting our best foot forward. We're hitting apartment complexes that's on campus. We're outside giving out samples. We're going to the Ohio Medical Center right here, the Big James Hospital. We're walking around. We're telling people about what we're doing. We're boosting posts. We're learning how to email and talk to HR people and say, hey, we offer catering. Hey, we do this, we do that. If we're doing those type of things, it's just a matter of time for someone to see something and says, hey, I want that. How people want to know, what do you bring to the life? And what I'm learning early and here later in life, where earlier part of my life is everything is about relationships.
Yeah.
So just because like I know you, Stu, okay, cool. You might have a buddy that's the president of his company. He's making millions of dollars, and you might want to introduce me to him, but he might not want to work with me.
Mhm.
But he might want to work with you to work with me. That's still a win.
Yeah, for sure.
He might not only want nothing to do with me. That's cool. That's still a win for me. And that's another thing that I had to learn. It's like, no, I got to be the head. I got to talk to such. When I'm running the business, it's like, long as you're getting the business that you need and it's turning revenue, that's what you need to focus on. And then
Yeah.
if that other person sees value in it, because they trust Stu, they don't trust Curtis. So if something happens and Curtis messes up the relationship, then that messes up the relationship with Stu and Curtis. But
Yeah.
if Stu handles the relationship and I handle my relationship with Stu, we'll be just fine. Yeah. So for people that don't have the money, you're not going to always have all the money. You're not going to always be the lead dog. And that's fine. Sometimes you have to find a person that's willing to invest in you. Well, first of all, get that. You have to be willing to invest in yourself so that other person sees the value. And sometimes you have to take the backseat to learn something that you thought you knew everything. Like I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew how to run a business. I never been in corporate. I got my first corporate job a year and a half ago. But I got the job at first for the money. Then I was like, man,
Hmm.
I don't like working for people. What can I
Sure.
learn from corporate to enhance my business? And within a year and a half, I've learned so many different like strategies, so many policies, so many procedures. What you're going to allow, what you're not going to allow. Why is it like that? Okay, well, you can't clock in 30 minutes early because if you clock in 30 minutes early, that's more money that they have to pay. Okay, well, you can't do it that way because now that's going to mess up the efficiency of what they want to have for their employees. Hmm, okay, gotcha.
I feel like the through line of everything you're saying, the common thread here is that you can't be too arrogant to learn new things, new
Yes,
skills, any of
right,
those things.
right. I mean, it just depends on what you want out of life. Me, I'm going for multi-millions just because I want generational wealth. But if
Yeah.
I only make it to $1 million, if I only make the $800,000, that's cool. I put my best foot forward. At least I know I put my best foot forward. Or
Yeah.
hey, or you might not make anything. At least you know you gave it your all. And you might have to go back to the drawing board. I've started over probably, that's probably like my fifth or sixth time starting over with something. Who cares? I still got, I still got 24 hours in a day. I still got 365 days in a year.
Hmm.
What can I make my days count? And how fast they come, that's up. That's just up to God. You know, like
Yeah.
or we don't know. All we can do is put our best foot forward. Like my second day, my weekend here, somebody called me with a big catering order. I got another inquiry about a big catering order. Now I responded. Did they go through? No, but it's okay. Just
Yeah.
let me know that people know that I'm here. And when that
Yes.
time does come, I'll be prepared for it. I'll know what to do. Because that's twice. The third time's a charm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about starting over, starting new businesses, trying new things out, because even if it doesn't become the thing, you are
Hmm.
learning, you are growing, you are
Hmm.
leveling yourself up. And it's 2025. I imagine if you're looking back at your whole life, Curtis, like even when you're top of the world at Ohio State or in the NFL, you're more of the man that you can be right now because of all the
Hmm.
experience you've had versus who you
Hmm.
were as a football player.
Right. Right.
I love that. And
Yeah.
is there any lessons, any hard lessons that you had to learn that we haven't talked about yet that has allowed you to become the businessman you are?
Well, I think the one thing I did have to learn that everyday life isn't football. Like you just can't be highly aggressive with
Yeah.
people every day. Um, you have to learn how to. The hardest thing for me has been transitioning from football It's probably a year, was it 8 years? It'll be 8 years this year. And I'm finally starting to feel like I'm finding my purpose in life after
Nice.
8 years of playing. I battled myself for about 8 years, just on the mental side of just trying to figure out who am I outside of football. Because once football was over, I just kind of felt like I just felt alone, dark
Yeah.
mentality because I've been doing something for 20 years and now I've been kicked out of my childhood dream of what I wanted to
Sure.
do for the rest of my life. And I had to find another way to become happy in my life just because I was going to self-destruct because I just felt like I wasn't gaining any traction. And I'm so thankful for my wife and kids because they gave me another reason to become better as a human being, not and as a man as well. Just handling business, paying attention more, just being loving, more caring, and understand that in this world, for you to run a business, you have to be able to connect with people. You have to be able to get people to believe in your vision. And if you're highly aggressive every day and you have no emotion, like that's cool in a football locker room, you know, because you're pretty much a gladiator and you can't feel pain. You're not allowed to really feel too much
Sure.
emotion. You know, it's just too aggressive. For me, it's just too aggressive of a sport to even think about. Just always being on. Oh man, I don't know if I should, get in there and do that. I might get hurt, like that type of thing. Can't do that, man. And
No.
I think just me being able to grow and go through those hard times, it has positioned me now to give me the mindset that I had playing football, that I'm unstoppable, but at the same time realize how to navigate and strategize on where I want things to go. Instead of being on the defensive side, I can be on the offensive side now.
This conversation keeps coming back to putting yourself in a place to be in control.
Yeah. And the only way you can do that is if you put yourself in uncomfortable situations so you know what you can take. Only you
Yeah.
know what you can take.
Yeah.
And that threshold is different for everybody. I mean, even my wife's threshold was different. And
Mhm.
now, after 13 years, and I tell her I'm so proud of her because she always thought I was crazy. And I was like, no, baby, I see it. I see it in you. Like, you have it. You have what it takes to be what you want to be. And don't let anybody take that from you. And now, after
Mhm.
13 years, like I told somebody, my wife has been really great, but now she's really, really, really great
Yeah.
because of the stuff that she's learned along the journey. And she was like, why is this always happening? Just that and the third. I don't think, and I'm like, babe, that's life. Like I got to experience it early because of sports. But to the person that doesn't get to get thrown in the fire at an 18-year-old and everything's at high demand and you have to figure out, me becoming a parent early, her becoming a parent, it's kind of somewhat early. And we both don't have our careers figured out. We have to do it with kids now. And
Yeah.
it's not. But once again, we have a support system here that allows us to continue to grow and be great alongside while we're pulling other people with us. They're linking arms with us to walk with us. So we're not pulling their
Yes.
weight. So it doesn't feel like it's dragged out. It feels like this now I'm walking in my purpose because now I'm not just bringing along my wife and kids. Now family members are starting to link arms with us and walk with us, and our team is getting stronger. And that's what I love about the experience and the journey that I'm on right now. We're not by ourselves.
Shout out to all the strong women out there that are,
Yeah.
building businesses while raising kids, like
Yes. Yes.
putting up with us husbands at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot. We're high demand too. We want everything, babe. Hey, babe, did you do this, babe? Did you do that? But at the same time, I will say this: as much as I asked for, I'm doing my best to put out 10 times more than what I asked for.
Yeah. 100%.
That
100%.
100%. So if I'm asking my wife for anything and she's asking me for anything, I'm giving her 110%. And those days that I can't, she fills my cup up. And the days that she can't, I fill her cup up. She never does anything alone now unless it's a personal thing that she has to go through alone. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love the team atmosphere, and she's always willing to build. I'm willing to listen. She's willing to listen. And we always love to build with one another. My biggest motto is I didn't get married to just to struggle. That's not why I got married. I got married to build with my partner. It might not even be a business. It just might be something just having a great relationship. Like my wife doesn't have to be
Yeah.
my business partner. She just might be able to have a great insight on something. She's
Hmm.
like, well, babe, did you think about it this way? I'm like, damn, babe, I ain't never think about it that way. Because so I don't want to say it like the only reason I'm with my wife is because she wants to be my business partner. No, she's a great business partner, but that's not the reason I'm with her. It's something to build something. Like we have a beautiful family, we have a beautiful home. My house is peaceful when I go home. We have fun, we hang out, we have date nights, we play video games, we go out and play video games, we hang out with the kids, and it's a blast. We take road trips. It's not all about business, we
Yeah.
put the time in to make things fun because everything else in life the stuff that we can't control tends to be 10 times more stressful than the things that we can control.
I'm going to sneak in one more question for you
Yeah.
before we have to begin winding this down. But so many people have fears about going into business with their partner, with their spouse, things of that nature.
Mhm.
Sounds like it's working for you and your wife, like super
Uh-huh.
well. What advice would you have for the folks that are listening to this? What would you say to them?
I think a lot of times it goes back to selfishness and immaturity. That's just my
Okay.
personal opinion. And I told my wife this, and somebody said to me one day, "That's why they always say don't do business with your wife or your family." One, you have to understand is the person that you're trying to go in business with, what's their mental capacity? What are they capable of doing? And if you
Yeah.
see those qualities and traits, now it comes down to what is it about? Are you truly a partnership? Is money the only focus? Because in my household, my money's not my money. And in our household, her money's not her money. We made a vow to each other one day to say, hey, whatever comes in this household, this is the house's money. So
Mhm.
whatever money we make, it has nothing to do with ego either. Oh, I'm the man, I got to pay all these bills, or now if I choose to do that, which I try to pay majority of my bills in my house because I like to take the stress off of my wife, because I like to work, I like to run, I like to go. That's just what I like to do. My wife might not want
Mhm.
to do that all the time, which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm getting at is understanding that the money you work for, as long as you're a family, that is not your money. That is the
Mhm.
family money. Because guess what? If something happens in the house, somebody's going to have to pay for it. You got
Yeah.
to eat, you got to get gas, you got to pay for the rent, mortgage, whatever it may be. That is, in our house, we call it the Grant Dynasty account. That is the Grant Dynasty's account's money.
I love that.
So that pays for the stuff that we need in the house. If I make more money than my wife, who cares? You got to look at it. If we divorce tomorrow, 50% of it's gone anyway because we have two kids. So it's not my money. That's just the business part of it. And people get into it as oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Let's work as a team and let's build something. Let's put together the strategy. What my wife and I live by is if we're going to work on a marriage, which is 10 times harder than working on a business,
Mhm.
why can't we come together and be business partners if we're already partners in a marriage? Why can't we have those hard conversations that we have to make our marriage better? Why can't we talk like that as we're in a relationship, right? I'm supposed to give you 110%. You're supposed to give me 110%. And like I said, some days it's not going to be like that. But that's my goal every day. My goal is to make sure my wife, kids, and family and business operate at premium level.
Mhm.
And the only way we're going to be able to do that is having those conversations. And we have to take ego out and selfishness out.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be selfish with my wife. And if we see that we can't handle it, then yeah, we go our separate ways, but I'm going to at least try.
Sure. Amen.
So we've been trying at it for the last 5 years. And At first, it was rocky. It was rocky because I have selfish ways. She has selfish ways. But then when you get into a situation where you're forced to work together, because there come time where you're forced to have to figure it out. You don't know what moment that may be.
Yeah.
That person might that this might be going wrong over here. Yeah, you got to pull money from over here and this and that, or somebody has a situation, or because at the end of the day, what's the goal? The goal is to win and to keep progressing. We can't do that. Oh, this is my money. Oh, well, I worked 12 hours overtime for that. Why did you get the No, it's not about that. What
Mm-mm.
strategy can you guys put together to win together so the whole house benefits from it? Because I'm not gonna go get $1 million and sit to the side and say, well, I'm not feeding the kids today.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
how stupid do you sound? Well, I made this million
Awful.
dollars. I'm not buying my wife no flowers. She didn't deserve it because she ain't bought me a pair of shoes. Like, what? So at the end of the day, it's about the relationship and the strategy. And if you can put those two together and understanding the roles, like in this one, I handle operations, I go do some media stuff. My wife handles the back end, and then we both handle the money.
Yeah.
And we're both on the calls. Babe, what did you think about that call? Well, what do you think? Okay, how do we keep it efficient? How do we keep the structure? And then I'll be like, well, no, I don't really think about it. Like, I didn't know. And if I don't know, or if she doesn't genuinely know, we don't get mad. It's like, okay, well, let's go with this idea, run with it for 2 to 3 weeks and see what we can critique. Let's put together, let's put together a plan and what, see what comes of it. And
Yeah.
that's just how we operate. I've taken all ego out of my relationship because at the end of the day, I don't have to fight my wife, my business.
Yeah.
This is my wife. I don't want to fight with my wife. I don't always want to have to be right with my wife. But as a leader, that I, as a leader, we do as men too. I do want to provide some structure to it,
Yep.
and take some of the qualities that I've learned from football to bring to my relationship. And it's not going to be the same, but those stuff that I know that works, let's present it to each other and let's just try it. And if it doesn't work out, let's figure out something that does work for us to continue to keep moving forward.
So good. Curtis, we could keep going, man. You really
Yeah.
brought the energy today. Like,
Oh yeah,
but
man.
I
I
gotta
love it, man.
respect your I gotta
Yeah.
respect your time. And folks, if you're not catching this on YouTube, Curtis is actually here at his Pure Green location, like
Yeah.
doing this podcast. So I gotta
Yeah.
major tip of the cap to you, brother, for putting it
Thank
in
you.
today
Yeah.
and bringing it. I got to make sure folks know where to find you and Pure Green. Tell them about the shop, what you guys sell, and where they can find you.
So Pure Green is the new superfood smoothie, juice, cold pressed juice, acai bowls, oatmeal bowls, and toast. Placed on at 1475 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. We're on at 1475 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio, and that is Pure Green. Come in. Our main reason for opening this business, my wife and I met on campus. We thought it would be cool here to bring something back where we met and continue to keep building as one. And we love to serve the community. We love people. It just gives us another reason to. It's kind of like we love having big cookouts during the summer and having family and friends over. It's another way to give people another a great healthy option and to be able to come in and decompress. That's what our store is about. We love bringing health, wealth, and positive energy to the community, and we're going to do that through the business and through the smoothies and the acai bowls and the toast and stuff that we make and giving people a great experience. And just being in here, we've met so many people that's having health issues and we're able to talk to them about the product and give them great suggestions. Everything here promotes great gut health. With great gut health, it promotes it just calls the active brain for you to be able to see things a lot more clear. And what's better than putting something in your body that's going to cause you to be energetic, go to the bathroom regular, stay hydrated, get all those
Yes.
impurities out of your body, give you great skin. As you can see, my skin's glowing a little bit from my products. But man, I mean, our body's a living organism, man, and we don't need to consume all those all those foods that with all those with all that bad stuff in it. I'm gonna just leave it at that before I go
Yeah.
down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we could do another podcast just on
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Our food has no preservatives, no steroids, anything like that. Everything we have is all natural. We're non-dairy. Um, Everything comes from fresh fruits and veggies.
yeah, just the way God intended it. So
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
so folks, as you are listening to this episode, definitely check Pure Green out. We're going to have the address, the details in the show notes wherever you are catching this podcast episode. So for those of you in Central Ohio, in Columbus, or even if you're just visiting, definitely come check Pure Green out. Say hi to Curtis if you're in there, if he's in there. Can't
Yep.
miss
Love to
him.
have
He
you.
can't miss him. He's the former NFL player. He's a big dude.
Yes.
Curtis, I want to acknowledge you not only for bringing it today, pouring into the listeners who I know are going to eat this episode up, but just for being a student of life, being a
Mhm.
student of mindset, and really being somebody that walks the talk in terms of you might not have all the answers, but you're going to figure it out. And the success that you and your wife are enjoying, I know is just going to continue to multiply and abound because of who you be and how you show up. And so,
Yes, sir. Well, I thank you. I appreciate that, Stu. Thank you
of course, final question we ask every guest: what are you acknowledging yourself for today?
for never giving up. That's it. I'm always putting the best foot forward, never giving up, and believing in myself to make it, that I'm going to make it on the other side.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yep.
sir. Well, amen to that. And I know you will. And folks, we'll catch you next week with another guest or message. We'll see you then.